Hello, welcome to Gurukul's CAT 100 series, a series that's designed specifically to take you from your study room to the corporate boardroom. I am Prady Sharma and this is Verbal Mastery with Prady. Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Now, in case you want to take up this passage as a test, all you've got to do is go on to www.thegurukul.org.in. In case you want to follow along with this video, then this is your first paragraph. Pause the video here, read this paragraph, and then we'll move on to the second paragraph. This is your second and last paragraph. Pause the video here, read this paragraph, and then we'll move on to the questions. This is your question number 1. Pause the video here, answer this question, and then we'll move on to the question number 2. This is your second question. Pause the video here, answer this question, and then we'll move on to the third question. This is your third question. Pause the video here, answer this question, and then we'll move on to the fourth question. Now this is your fourth and last question of the day. Pause the video here, and once you're done answering this, comment your answers in the comment box so that we know and we can verify how many questions you've gotten correct at the end of this video. Now, without any further ado, let's get into the passage explanations and the question explanations. So, what does the first paragraph tell us? All of the cells in a particular plant start out with the same complement of genes. How then can these cells differentiate and form structures as different as roots, stems, leaves, and fruits? The answer is that only a small subset of the genes in a particular kind of cells are expressed or turned on at a given time. Now, what does this mean? When we say complement of genes, we mean to say that set of genes. So he's saying that all the cells start with the same set of genes. In that case, how is it that they are being differentiated? How is it that they're forming different parts of the plant? Now, the answer to that is very simple. The answer to that is that only a small subset of those genes, okay, are expressed. Now, what is this meaning of expressed in this context? It means it's turned on. Think of it like a switch. Maybe we have all these subsets of the gene, okay. Now, in certain things, this part is on. In certain other things, maybe this part is on. That way, different subsets are turned on, different subsets are turned on in different types of cells, because of which they become different things like roots, stems, leaves, and fruits. This is accomplished by a complex system of chemical messengers that in plants include hormones and other regulatory molecules. So, this expression of genes or expression of particular kind of genes happens due to hormones and regulatory molecules. These are the two things. Now, 5 major hormones have been identified: auxin, abscisic acid, cytokinin, ethylene, and gibberellin. Studies of plants have now identified a new class of regulatory molecules called as oligosaccharides. Now, so how many hormones? 5, and these regulatory molecules are oligosaccharides. That's what's being told to us. Unlike the oligosaccharides, the 5 well-known plant hormones are pleiotropic rather than specific. What does this word pleiotropic mean? Pleiotropic means has more than one use or performs more than one action. So each has more than one effect on the growth and development of the plants. The 5 has so many simultaneous effects that they're not very useful in artificially controlling the growth of crops. So why are they really not so useful in artificially controlling the growth of the crops? Because they each have so many different simultaneous effects. So we cannot pinpoint what is causing what kind of a growth. Okay, auxin, for instance, stimulates the rate of cell elongation, causes shoot to grow up and roots to grow down, and inhibits the growth of lateral shoots. Okay, so auxin has these uses. Right, what's the second part of the paragraph telling us? Auxin also causes the plant to develop a vascular system to form lateral roots and to produce ethylene. Okay, so auxin, he's after mentioning all the 5 hormones, he's telling us the role of auxin. The pleiotropy of the 5 well-studied plant hormones is somewhat analogous to that of the certain hormones in animal. So, it's just like whatever we have studied about, the simultaneous effects that are being caused by the 5 plant hormones. It's somewhat similar to what happens in the animal hormones. For example, hormones from the hypothalamus in the brain stimulate the anterior lobe of the pituitary gland to synthesize and release many different hormones, one of which stimulates the release of hormones from the adrenal cortex. So, here he is just comparing, okay, from this part to this part, he's just comparing between the 5 hormones, okay, 5 hormones in plants versus 1 hormone in animal, right? So these hormones have specific effects on target organs all over the body. One hormone stimulates the thyroid gland, for example, another the ovarian follicle cells, and so forth. In other words, there's a hierarchy of hormones. So one thing leads to the other, that leads to the other, that leads to the other. Like that, there's a hierarchy. Such a hierarchy may also exist in plants. Oligosaccharides are fragments of the cell wall. So what are these oligosaccharides? These oligosaccharides are nothing but fragments of the cell wall which are released by enzymes. Okay, so different enzymes release different oligosaccharides. So what do we understand? There are enzymes which are releasing oligosaccharides, not the other way around. Yes, okay. There are indications that pleiotropic plant hormones may actually function by activating the enzymes that release these other more specific chemical messengers from the cell wall. So now the new idea that I get from this part is that I have these plant hormones. Okay, now these plant hormones are the ones which are releasing enzymes, and these enzymes are releasing oligosaccharides. Okay, and these oligosaccharides, what do these oligosaccharides do? They make sure that specific changes happen in the plant. Okay, so this is what the passage talks about. Now let's get into the questions very quickly. According to the passage, the 5 well-known plant hormones are not useful in controlling the growth of the crops because. Now, why are those 5 hormones together? Why are even if we study those 5 hormones, why are we not able to understand how they are able to control the growth? The simple answer is, in the passage is spoken about pleiotropy, right? How they have simultaneous effects coming upon, because of which they are not able to, or we are not able to understand how each of those hormones is controlling the growth specifically. So let's try to find such an answer over here. It's not known exactly what functions the hormones perform. Now this is not correct because he's very clearly given us the functions of auxin, which means maybe the other hormones have also been discovered and we know the functions of those as well. Each hormone has various effects on plants. Now this becomes a slightly better answer because if they have various effects on plants simultaneously, we do not know what is contributing to what. None of the hormones can function without the others. Now nowhere in the passage has this been mentioned, so this becomes an out of scope choice for us. So obviously this is not going to be our answer. D. Each hormone has different effects on different kinds of plants. Now again, we know that each hormone has different effects. Okay, that's there, but in conjunction with other hormones, which is missing from this option. Second thing, in different kinds of plants, this has not been spoken anywhere in the passage. So this also becomes an out of scope choice. So the best possible answer for me is B. Okay, now let's go to the second question. Now the second question says, the passage suggests that the place of hypothalamic hormones in the hormonal hierarchies of animals is similar to that place of which of the following in plants. Now, so just he's asking me the analogy that's been mentioned in the passage. The hypothalamic hormone is analogous to what in the plants? Now we clearly know this what is nothing but the plant hormones, right? What are these plant hormones? The 5 plant hormones, right? Auxin, abscisic acid, ethylene, gibberellin and all those kind of things. So plant cell walls? No. The complement of genes in each plant cell wall, the set of genes? Absolutely not. A subset of plant cell genes of the complement? No. Hormone specifically is an answer that we are looking for. So D should be the best possible answer for this. I think this becomes a very, very simple question. We should not have gone wrong in this particular question. Now, third one, the passage suggests that which of the following is a function likely to be performed by an oligosaccharin. So what will an oligosaccharin do? Now, let's think about it for a little while, even before we get into the options. This part of pre-thinking is extremely important, guys, because once we have a pre-thinking, we can quickly eliminate options. If we get stuck in options, sometimes my students say that we get stuck in 2 options, we eliminate 2 options, but there are 2 options that are still remaining and we do not know what to do with that. Pre-thinking is a very, very basic step that can help you eliminate, your confusion in those 2 options also. So what does an oligosaccharin do? It is a chemical messenger which is supposed to give me specific changes. Right, and how do I know that it's supposed to give me specific changes? Because in the passage he said, unlike oligosaccharides, plant hormones are pleiotropic. That means what? Oligosaccharin should be specific. No, if plant hormones are pleiotropic. So here, to stimulate a particular plant cell to become a part of a plant's root system, maybe. Now here, when he says root system, that's a little too specific, but so far this is a good answer. So if I do not find any better answer than this, I will definitely go for A as my answer. To stimulate the walls of a particular cell to produce other oligosaccharides. Now again, oligosaccharides do not stimulate the walls of any other cells. Okay, what do we see? We've seen that hormones stimulate enzymes which stimulate oligosaccharides. So this is a wrong causation. So definitely B is not going to be my answer. C. To activate enzymes that release specific chemical messengers from plant cell walls. Now, this might sound like a good option, but guys, do oligosaccharides activate enzymes? No, enzymes activate oligosaccharides, right? So definitely not going to be C. To duplicate the gene complement in a particular plant cell. Nowhere has been spoken. This is a clearly out of scope choice. So definitely not going to be my answer. The best possible answer now becomes A. Now for the last question of the passage, the author mentions specific effects that auxin has on plant development in order to illustrate that. Now why is the author mentioning all of these? A. Point out that some of the effects of a plant hormones can be harmful. Now, nowhere in the passage has he said that anything that's been given could be harmful, right? So definitely not going to be A. Way in which hormones are produced by plants. Now, again, how have hormones been produced by plants has not been spoken in the passage. We only know that plants have hormones, not how they are produced. So definitely not B. Hierarchical nature of the functioning of a plant hormones. Now, again, in the passage, we've been told that yes, there is hypothalamic hormone, and in animals there is a hierarchy which may be present in the plants as well, but we have not discussed how it is in the plants. So this is a far-fetched option which we should not be considering. D. Concept of pleiotropy as it is exhibited by the plant hormones. Obviously, now if you look at auxin has A, B, C, D, 4, 5 effects, right? Now, all of these effects are happening simultaneously, correct? So, obviously, the reason why he's talked to us about auxin is to show the concept of pleiotropy. So, this becomes a very, very viable answer for me, and this should be my correct answer. Now, if you watch this video till the end, please do not forget to hit the like button. That motivates us a lot to keep bringing these kind of videos for you. Comment down how many answers you have gotten correct and share this video with a friend who is struggling to prepare for CAT 2025 and needs free resources to prepare. I'll see you in the next video.
Hope you enjoyed learning from today's session.
This series is designed to help you with your CAT preparation and practice daily. We are with you in this journey.
To watch the next video, click here. And to watch Gurukul's CAT 100 series, study room to boardroom, the entire playlist, click here.
If you learned from today's session, like, share, and subscribe.